Hello, dear viewers and listeners. I'm Monica Kuzminskaite, health and nutrition psychologist, and this is my podcast that I call Spoonful of Reason. We continue focusing on the ultra processed foods this week, and this time we turn our attention to the possibility of addiction. We investigate this question at the intersection of neurobiology and nutritional science. In our everyday language, we often and carelessly say that we are addicted to coffee or cake. And although we will not find a diagnosis of food addiction in any of the medical encyclopedias, this issue is actively discussed, researched, and reformulated to include new scientific details. The phenomenon that we are discussing is not just about liking certain foods very much. The problem is that we lose control of our behavior. Um, to define what we are discussing, we use different tools. For example, Yale Food Addiction Scale measures these criteria. Compulsive eating, this is when we eat more than we planned, even though we are not hungry. Tolerance, the need to eat very strong tasting foods to feel the same satisfaction. Withdrawal, irritability, or headaches if we stop consuming sugar or heavily processed fats or any of the ultra processed foods, and continued consumption despite harm, meaning despite observed weight gain, diabetes, or emotional difficulties. If we see these criteria present, then we are talking about the possibility of being addicted. Studies show that natural foods such as apples or steak do not usually cause such reactions, and this is how we categorize these two types of foods. Over the course of evolution, our brains have learned to choose foods that provide the most energy. Modern food additives act as superstimulus, pretending to be a very high energy food, triggering a powerful response from the dopamine system. A fresh peach may cause moderate release of dopamine, but a glazed donut can cause a huge dopamine spike. Natural foods rarely contain equal amounts of fats and carbohydrates, but the ultra-processed foods are often high in both, and specifically this ratio makes the food very palatable. It is common in foods associated with strong hedonistic desires. Think of chocolate, donuts, or ice cream. The more dopamine a food causes to be released, the more we want it next time. As with other addictions, the more often we eat such foods, the weaker is brain's response due to desensitization. On the other hand, our desire grows stronger because we mobilize additional motivation to achieve the same pleasure we felt before. Constant stimulation of dopamine receptors reduces their sensitivity. In addition, the effect of frontal lobe of the brain weakens, making us less inclined to control our behavior. Under such conditions, sensitivity to stress increases, which ironically often leads to emotional eating. And we choose ultra-processed foods as our primary foods when we go for emotional control through food. There is another problem with industrially produced food. It is often very soft, so it takes less time to chew. It contains significantly less fiber, and the substantially more intense sweeteners and umami flavor imitating additives do not affect leptin, the satiety hormone, in the same way as regular food. As a result, we feel full later and have more opportunities to eat more high-calorie food. Over time, we no longer seek such food for pleasure, but only to feel normal or to deal with our discomfort. All this means that lack of willpower does not cause the phenomenon. Rather, it is the effect of modern, artificially created food on the brain which lacks the mechanism to respond to it appropriately. Research shows that about 14% of adults and 12% of children may have an addiction-like reaction to processed foods. This phenomenon can have a powerful impact in communities with high proportion of low-income people, where so-called food deserts can actually be also addiction zones. However, an individual's reaction to highly processed food depends heavily on their genes, environment, and choices. so it cannot usually be compared across the people. Here are some tips for dealing with unhealthy food cravings, if you choose so. First, focus on the healthy foods you want to add to your diet, not the ones that you should avoid. After all, you can't eat everything. And if you eat healthy food first, there won't be any room left for the unhealthy ones. Choose foods that are high in fiber first, meaning vegetable, full grains, um, fruits, and berries. Take care of your environment. Don't create conditions for eating with your eyes. Don't leave food you don't want to eat in visible places, and limit your presence in areas where such food is offered or sold. If you cannot avoid these areas, then make sure you stay there for as short time as possible. If you don't want to give up a particular product right away, replace half of it with healthier alternative, gradually increasing the proportion of healthy food. And by gradually, I mean every few weeks make additional change. Plan your withdrawal reaction, because when you will take away any type of food, you will feel that. And the most challenging part is anywhere between the second and fifth day of not eating the chosen product. It will be easier later. So plan engaging activities for these first days, so you have something to divert your attention to. The reward response to healthier food will develop faster and be stronger if you eat mindfully, slowly, and of course, if you will make sure that it tastes good. Before eating, make sure you are not angry, not lonely, or otherwise emotionally uncomfortable. You're not tired, so you do not create a harmful cause and effect relationship between your emotional state and the food. I hope this helps. My name is Monica Kuzminskaite. I'm health and nutrition psychologist. I write, I give lectures, and I provide psychological counseling. You will find the link to register for a counseling session in the comment under each post, and you will find my posts in social media searching either for my name or for keyword Spoonful of Reason. Drop me a message on social media if you have any questions and comments. Meanwhile, wishing all of you peace.